Hi guys, this is your boy Don V here with another video. First, let me thank you all for tuning in again. Please like, share, and hit that notification bell. Thank you very much. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing some highlights of the trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin. That's the officer, for those of you who maybe don't remember or don't know of him, that's the former police officer who allegedly killed George Floyd with his knees on Mr. Floyd's neck. I won't be getting into any form of details or too much details, as we all know the trial is going on now. So I don't want to be held liable for anything that I say or put out there, or get my video taken off of YouTube. All right. So please enjoy the highlights as I put them out. One thing I can say though, this trial is going to be one for the centuries. And even though we all might have thought it would be an open and shut case, open and shut trial, it's not going to be like that, because we all watched the police officer on Mr. Floyd's neck. I mean, it's like we see it, but when it comes to the justice system, it's a different thing. So because right now a whole lot of scenarios are coming forward of what could have been, or what if this had happened, or if Mr. Floyd wasn't on whatever, or a whole lot of stuff. But this is how the justice system is set up, and unless the lawmakers decide to change some things, we have to live with it, unfortunately. Anyway, let's jump right into the highlights, and please feel free to leave a comment in the comments section. Thank you very much.
Did you feel threatened by the police officers?
Yes.
Did you feel threatened by Mr. Chauvin?
Yes. I have a black father. I have a black brother. I have black friends. And I look at that, and I look at how that could have been one of them. It's been nights I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting and not saving his life. But it's like, it's not what I should have done. It's what he should have done.
What's the point of doing chest compressions?
Pumping the blood for somebody that's not doing that themselves, trying to get a pulse back.
And were you able to do that, any of those steps?
No, sir.
Why weren't you able to do any of that?
Because the officers didn't let me in to the scene.
When you couldn't do that, how did that make you feel?
Totally distressed.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
I think you made some reference about why you videotaped, because our memories are fallible, right? And again, a stressful situation can impact your memory, right?
Absolutely. That's why we're lucky it was videotaped.
Right. Would you describe other people's demeanors as upset or angry?
I don't know if you've seen anybody be killed, but it's upsetting.
I'm going to just ask you to answer my questions as I ask them to you, okay? Could you describe Mr. Floyd as a small, slim man?
Overruled.
Yeah, it appeared to, with 3 grown men on top of somebody, it appeared that he was small and frail.
Okay.
But I know that not to be
there's
true,
no
obviously.
question.
Your job is to answer
I
that.
was finishing my answer.
I will determine when your answer is done.
Okay, well,
And so, do not argue with the court. Do not argue with counsel. Answer the questions. Do not volunteer information that is not requested.
You described, and again for the record, this is 7:45:10. Describe for the jurors what you were doing there.
I was holding up the $20 bill that I just received.
And is that something you always do or something about this?
No, when I saw the bill, I noticed that it had a blue pigment to it, kind of how a $100 bill will have, and I found that odd, so I assumed that it was fake.
What was going through your mind during that time period?
Disbelief and guilt.
Okay. Why guilt?
If I would have just not taken the bill, this could have been avoided.
Oh my God.
When you're ready.
We'll just give you a moment, Mr. McGowan. I'm not sure if there's water for you as well. If you need a break to get some water, let me know, and we can take a break. I know that this is difficult. Can you just explain sort of what you're feeling in this moment?
I feel helpless.
What did I observe when I arrived on the scene? There was a police squad, an individual laying down, 3 officers on the individual. There was multiple people. There was multiple cell phones out. There was elevated tones used. It didn't feel like a welcoming environment.
What did his condition appear to be to you overall?
In lay terms, I thought he was dead.
So, officers in the back doing chest compressions, you're getting set up, correct?
Yes, sir.
Went to the second location so that your partner could get back in the back with you to take over for the officer, right?
Not to take over. We needed everybody we could at that time.
Why didn't you just have the officer help you continue so you could go straight to the hospital?
That's not what we do.
Is it because he's not an EMT?
Any layperson can do chest compressions. There's no reason Minneapolis couldn't have started chest compressions.
That's not my question. My question is, he's not an EMT, correct?
I don't know the level of certification of the individual that got into the back of my rig.
All right. You wanted a partner who could help you out, correct?
I wanted as many people that were willing to help me at that time to work this cardiac arrest.
And is the placement of a knee on a subject's neck a use of force?
Yes.
A reportable type of force?
Not necessarily.
And why is that?
If we're handcuffing somebody in a prone position or fighting with someone, it could happen where your knee ends up on their neck.
Okay. For about how long?
I guess whatever's reasonable.
Okay. And which would be when?
Until you get control of the party, I guess.
Control is in the person is then handcuffed?
Handcuffed and not continuing to fight with you anymore.
So once the subject is handcuffed and no longer resisting,
Yes.
at that point, the restraint should stop.
Yeah. When Mr. Floyd was no longer offering up any resistance to the officers, they could have ended the restraint.
And that was after he was handcuffed and on the ground and no longer resisting.
Correct. Have you ever, in all the years you've been working for the Minneapolis Police Department, been trained to kneel on the neck of someone who is handcuffed behind their back in a prone position?
No, I haven't.
Is that, if that were done, would that be considered force?
Absolutely.
What level of force might that be?
That would be the top tier, the deadly force.
Why?
Because of the fact that if your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
What is your, your view of that use of force during that time period?
Totally unnecessary.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, pulling him down to the ground, face down, and putting your knee on a neck for that amount of time is just uncalled for. I saw no reason why the officers felt they were in danger, if that's what they felt. And that's what they would have to feel to be able to use that kind of force.